Hello folks, welcome to my page, and today we're going to talk about the LUMIX S1H Mark II. I don't have any information about this camera coming out nowhere soon, so we're not going to talk about that. We know that it's going to come around this year at some point, or well, we don't know, we hope, but still, LUMIX, please release it this year. We are tired of waiting, but take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Damn, I sound like Donald Trump. Nope. Take your time to deliver something that it can really blow our brains out of our head. Because this camera that I'm about to talk about are my wish list and what I hope we will see. So it's more of kind of a realistic wish list, and then at the end I will talk about something that I hope we can get, so kind of a dream wish list. But this is more of a kind of realistic thing because it's kind of things that LUMIX already has in-house somehow, and just kind of a little bit enchanting them. So let's go straight into the video so you can go and understand everything. So we're gonna start from the body. So what I would like to see on the body, keep looking on my right. I don't know, I'm mirroring now, so I don't know if you guys will see a left or right, but I'm looking on my screen here, and because I have all the lists, because there is a lot, but damn. Okay, let's go into it. So the body, I hope it will have kind of the same body as the S1H has, but I've seen that LUMIX is kind of pushing more towards the S5 Mark II kind of style of body, because we saw what they did with the S1R Mark II. So probably they will reuse the S1R Mark II body, which I wouldn't complain at all about. I love the S5 Mark II X body, and to get it a little bit beefier, that actually will be super cool. The next thing is the sensor. I hope we will get a stacked sensor. A stacked sensor, but kind of between the 24, so basically to keep the same sensor but make it stacked or faster somehow. So between the 24 or the 30 megapixels. Really, I don't think a video-centric camera needs to have high megapixel count. It's unnecessary, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to get less than 20 megapixels sensor. I don't know, I just don't like it, especially for crop reasons and stuff like that, and especially that this will become really important in the video section, why it will be better to not go under the 20 megapixels. But yeah, the next feature is that we will kind of eradicate the optical low pass filter from the S1H, because that filter was really good, and especially everyone ranting about LUMIX Moray, like no other company has Moray in their sensors. Bro, guys, come on. LCD, I hope they will kind of have the same LCD that the S1R has or the S1H had, because the S1H already came with that type of sensor, which people are not really talking about, because according to people, Sony is the one that actually brought this revolutionary screen tilt free angle. But LUMIX already came up with it with the LUMIX S1H. So hopefully it will eradicate the one from the S1R Mark II, because that kind of tilts a little bit more, and well, it's new, so most probably they will use that. Next feature is the fan. So they will most probably keep the same fan mechanism, especially because this camera will most probably not have 8K, so it will not have many of the issues that the S1R Mark II had. So this system of fan that they have implemented in this specific moment will work perfectly for the video specs that I will share later on. The next feature is the tele light. I hope it will get the telelight in the front and in the back as the S1R Mark II has, and the same viewfinder as the S1R Mark II, which is, I think, the 5.6 million dots or something like that, which is basically, I think, the same that the S1R had, and I think the S1H had it too. But whatever, that viewfinder, it's amazing, and I hope they would just keep that because they have it in-house already. We don't really need 9.9 million dots. We are not going to compete in that realm, especially because it's a video centric camera, so that is plenty enough. The next is basically the video and photography switch that the S1R had, the next S1R Mark II has, which is amazing. As soon as I saw it, I was like, damn, I want to have it so bad in the S1R, in the S5 Mark II X, but unfortunately we didn't get it. One thing that I hope we could get is like the switches will be backsided, illuminated, so they will be like illuminated where you can like decide if you want to like see them maybe in the dark or something like that. There could kind of be a light system that they will build into it so you can kind of see it in the dark. I think the S1R had it, but the S1R Mark II didn't get it, so that will be something really cool to get. Well, I hope we will get the time code sync like the S1H had. I really don't know where they will find the space for it, because they really maximize the space for the S1R Mark II. So if they even find more space to even implement more ports, chapeau LUMIX, do it please, especially because I have a request that I will talk about a little bit later on that will kind of need a bit more space. So let's see, we will talk about it later. But still, the 8 stop of IBIS, that will be probably the standard now that they will go for. LUMIX had already an amazing 5 stops of stabilization, which other camera companies have the same stops, but they never look as good as LUMIX 5 stops. So I was just shocked the first time I hold my S5 and I was shooting with the R6 from Canon, and I was like, they are supposed to have the same stops. How come they look totally different? But hey, LUMIX have some algorithm that others haven't discovered yet, so chapeau LUMIX, keep doing it. The 32-bit float hot shoe, that is a must, of course. That's a must, we have to have it. And here is where I hope we will get, you know, some extra kind of space on the body of the camera, because I would like to have a double USB-C with cross-pass possibilities. What I mean, I don't even know if it's right in the term saying cross-path, but that's what you use usually for HDMI and SDI cross-path functions. And what I mean is that basically the two HDMI, two USB-Cs will work in the same way. That they wouldn't divide the functions of the USB-Cs as many other companies do. Usually when they put two USB-Cs, one is usually for tethering and the one is like for charging. In this case, I hope we will get the two USB-Cs that can do basically the same thing, so that you can be like charging the camera one time and then at the same time recording into an SSD. Or for example, you are using the USB-C for something else, and then you still have the second one that does the same function to do whatever you want to do, you know. And especially it works perfectly with the LUMIX Flow Up, because now you can, or in the future when we will receive the firmware update in the S5 Mark II X and the GH7 and I think the G9 Mark II, you will be able through the USB-C connect to your phone and use it straight as a monitor in the LUMIX Flow Up. So in that case, if your phone is like connected to that, you can still be recording through an SSD through the other USB-C, or be charging your camera, or I don't know, you can do whatever you want to do with the other one, but they are still cross-path, so they have the same functions. You understand what I mean, right? So I don't need to like mumble. So that would be super cool. Obviously, full size HDMI. I don't even think I need to mention it, but why I'm mentioning it, that it would be nice to have a minimal lag, right? Not the one we have on the S5 Mark IIX, which it doesn't bother me that much, but it still will be cool to have a little bit faster one, more like the one on the GH7, right? Yeah, so more like the one that we have on the GH7. Then it would be nice to have a CF Express Type B card and an SD UHS2 card, basically like Sony has. But we know that Sony has their own proprietary CF Express Type A card, so they can kind of find a way to still put an SD card and still CFS Type A. But it would be nice if other companies will start doing that too. I don't think there is any type of monopoly on that or stuff like that. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a technician, so I'm just talking of wishes that I would like to have. So, but it would be cool. If not, then just give us 2 CFS Type B cards slots. I would just like to have 2 CFX Type B card slots, and the rest, who cares? Like, I don't even think that people who are going to buy this camera are going to rely on SD cards anyway. So yeah, just 2 of them, or the 4 of them somehow interconnected somehow. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, an SSD through USB recording. So these are more or less what I would like to see on the body. Now, let's go with video features. Heads up, I'm not going to really talk about photo features because this camera is, and it's going to be a video centric camera. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about video features because the photo features are mostly going to be like tripling down from the S1R Mark II to this camera, and that's pretty much it. That's what I think it will be, so I'm not really gonna talk about that part. So video features, what I hope we will get is 6K open gate up to 60 frames per second. I think that is the bare minimum that it will be really nice to have, and or 7K open gate up to 60 frames per second. So why I say 7K? So if you have a sensor size of 20 megapixels to 30 megapixels, you can have 6K. From 30 megapixels to 40 megapixels, you can shoot in 7K. So that's the thing. That's why I'm saying 6K or 7K up to 60 frames per second, because if we have a sensor size between that range, 20 and 40, we are able to receive 6K and or 7K, right? That's why. And 4K open gate up to 120 frames per second, because that's what one thing we haven't received yet, right? 4K open gate standard we have, but in MP4 Lite, it would be nice to just have one standard one or oversample one of 4K open gate 120 frames per second. That would be pretty sick. We don't need to have it in 6K or 5K and risk our camera to process so much that it's just going to overheat. 4K open gate up to 120 frames per second, that would be pretty sick to have. Then 1080p up to 30 frames per second, and all of these features in 10-bit 422. So not anymore the 420 that many Sony users, Nikon users, Canon user has been laughing at LUMIX. So, oh, you only have 420. Your colors are never gonna match Sony, Canon. They are never gonna be as good. Yeah, I'm looking at you. We still have better colors than many of those cameras. The next feature, it will be cool that all of them are with the new hybrid phase detect autofocus. So all of this frame rate here and with the subject on, because in the S1R Mark II, when you go above the 60 frame per second, you lose all the subject tracking. I don't know why they did that. Maybe it's a software limitation or I have no clue, but for the moment, that's how it is. But we know that LUMIX is really good with firmware updates, so who knows? Maybe they will fix that. I don't know. I hope so for who have those cameras, but I'll not buy it, so whatever. And I hope there will be an AI chip, like a real physical dedicated AI chip in the camera, so that it can like enchant the phase detect autofocus, and it can like enchant even some shooting modes like the hybrid zoom or the crop zoom. There could be some kind of help with even more better image quality, you know, like processing image quality and stuff like that. Why not? It would be cool to have it. And I think it's possible because we know that LUMIX has an AI chip. It came out, the news came out like, I think a couple of years ago. So there is, but I don't know what it is for. So now I'm just talking for the sake of talking, but that will be a cool implementation because Sony has it, Canon has it. So why not? I mean, that would be cool. The Cinelike A2, that would be super cool to receive. I'm pretty sure we're going to receive it there, and I hope we will receive in the future firmware update for the S5 Mark II X, especially because that's the video centric camera for creators done by LUMIX at the moment, right? So internal ProRes RAW, that obviously is going to be the thing that most people are going to expect to have it inside. And later we will talk about B-RAW and all the exposure basically features that are available until now. So fast color, waveforms, luminance spot, zebras, and that's pretty much it, I think. So all of this in the video feature specs. So it's not much, right? Or is it? I don't know. Comment down below and let me know if I'm asking too much, but I don't think so. But it might be, or maybe not. Well, just chat down below and let me know if I'm asking too much. And the next features are basically my dream features. So these are not going to be realistic features, but mostly what I hope we could get. So a dream feature. The first feature is probably the one that many people will laugh me at, which is basically to have an SDI port in a mirrorless camera. Yeah, I mean, they did it in the C80, but that's a cinema camera, but why not? I mean, it's a dream feature, so I throw it out there, but it would be cool to have SDI. Why not? The next feature is B-RAW internally. So that is in my dream feature because even though Blackmagic is part of the L-Mount Alliance right now, it will be hard that Blackmagic will allow a camera company, which is still a direct competitor, to use internally their own proprietary RAW format, right? So yeah, I don't know. And if they do, it will be at a pretty hefty price, which I might be willing to pay to get it in my camera, just because I like B-raw recording and editing. Every time that I can, I actually shoot in B-raw with the S5 Mark II X, so I use it more often than what I thought I would use it. So have it internally, it will be super cool, and even through an SSD, it will be super cool. The next feature is the feature that many are asking for years in mirrorless cameras to do, and I think Sony is the closest camera company that could actually do it, because they actually have already the technology for it, which is ND filters, right? So basically Sony has this electronic ND filter, which I think is the best ND filter mechanism out there. So it would be so cool if Lumix could actually manage to create their own electronic ND filter instead of a mechanical stepping ND filters inside the camera, which basically with the click of a button, it will like shift, you know, electronically, so you don't have anything passing in front of the sensor. It's mostly electronic and some gimmick that they have done with diodes and stuff. I'm not gonna go into it. I think Gerald and Dan will be the best person to actually explain that thing. I understood it, but to explain it, it's a different. So my card just filled up and I didn't have the automatic switch to the SD on, so I was talking for luckily only like 10 seconds before I figured out that yeah, something was wrong. And yeah, but anyway, I was saying that Gerald and Dan might be probably the best person to explain this. I understood it because I've done research about it, but to explain it is a totally different world. We will probably stay here an hour, but that will be super cool to actually get it into a Lumix camera, right? So the next feature is battery. So I really hope we could get actually a new battery and a new capacity of a battery, right? So to basically keep the same battery, so the same size and everything, so that they could be even backwards compatible with all the other cameras, right? And that would be so good, because now we have the technology to be able to actually increase capacity of batteries by keeping them still smaller, like many Android phones, or lately Android phones have done through carbon. I'm not even 100% sure. I haven't done enough research about it, which it's something I will do actually in the next days, because I'm so curious about this technology. But yeah, guys, hope you guys love this video. It's quite long as many of my latest videos here, because I'm trying to talk more with you guys and to bring more conversations. So hopefully I will talk to you guys down below, but hopefully you are well, safe, and mentally okay, or mentally doing okay, and physically too. Keep taking good care of yourself. Stay blessed. I'm gonna see you in the next one.